So you know how some shit will happen to you in your life and you'll think it's not that bad, and then later you reflect on it and you're like, that was fucked up? This is one of those stories. Hi guys. So I was actually reminded of this story earlier in this week, and I decided that I'd make a video on it because it's pretty fucked up, and incredibly more so the fact that she never lost her job over it. And I'll tell you why later on, so just stick around. I'm pretty sure there are going to be people saying that, like, you should have fucking, like, narked on her. You should have said something, like, if you're gay, then why didn't you tell her shit? Like, why did you just let her say that kind of crap and blah, 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 blah. Listen, this was 7th grade. I was, 12, 13? And having, like, this hate speech being thrown at you when you're that young, there's little to nothing you would want or can or figure you should do. Because you're dumb and you're young and you're just petrified, because that's literally just what happened. I was so shocked I didn't know what to do. So there, LGBT, stand down, all right? That community, chill out. One of the other things that really pisses me off whenever I think about this story now is how the class and the teacher of which this all happened in was a mathematics class. So it wasn't even like an English class where, like, open discussion is a thing, where people talk about their opinions and it's like this big melting pot of, like, fucking differing opinions and shit. Fucking thought-provoking. It's just like literally we're doing math. Like, we're doing fractions and this bitch is up there, again, spewing hate speech. So, another thing that makes me mad is that this teacher was a fucking shit teacher. And I'll tell you why. This teacher was an athletics coach. She was the cheerleaders, like, instructor, coach, I don't know the fuck they call them, but she was that. And she was also a math teacher. And so, this threw in the dynamic in the classroom that if you were in any sort of athletics, like if you were a jock, if you were a cheerleader, if you had anything to do with that, you could do literally no wrong in her eyes. So she basically played favorites with kids who were in athletics. So in this class, there was nothing but jocks and cheerleaders and baseball players in that period, like in the period that I had. That's all there was. Like, there was just athletes in that class. And so there was a very small, like, tiny ass group of people who just basically were excluded and all that. So to further destroy the reputation of this piece of shit cunt of a human being, i.e. my teacher, might I add that she was, again, a shit teacher. She literally would get up, talk about 15 minutes about whatever topic, whatever lesson was for that day, and then hand us, like, a packet and have us complete it. Like, she was one of those teachers. The only person in this class that I talked to was one girl. This girl I had kind of befriended the year prior, and so when we got class together, we decided, well, you're the only person I'm going to talk to because I don't know any fucking buddy here, you know? So, on many different occasions, we would have these discussions of, like, what if, or would you rather? Like, we would do that shit all the fucking time. And on this particular day, that friend of mine, we were, like, working away on our fucking textbooks, and, you know, the fucking classroom was, like, roaring with fucking, like, kids, again, throwing shit, screaming, laughing at the top of their lungs, standing on desks, like, being assholes. And we were there just sitting, like, doing our fucking work, and she looks up from her work, and she asks me, yo, what if you had a son who wanted to be a drag queen? What would you do? I'll go ahead and say that I was very blessed in the sense of the family that I was born into, my immediate family, gives no fucks about whether you're gay, if you're lesbian, if you're bisexual. They don't give a shit. Like, they will not have that one fact define you. They see it as not that big of a deal. And I, as a child, was ignorant enough to believe that that's how everyone else thought. I knew for a fact that it existed. I knew that there were people out there who didn't like it and weren't okay with it, and for certain reasons, and this, that, and the other. So it's not that I didn't think that people who are against, like, gay people didn't exist. I just felt that the people who didn't give a shit outweighed the majority. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I kind of took the question a bit lightheartedly and made a joke saying that, because back then I was also very interested in makeup. I said, if my son wanted to be a drag queen, then that would be fucking dope, because then I could put makeup on him and he wouldn't give a shit. And I don't know for what reason this, like, destroyed my friend. Like, she started laughing as if she was possessed by a fucking demon. Like, she thought this was the most hilarious thing that I had ever said in my entire, like, existence. Like, it was the funniest shit she had ever heard in her entire life. She just started, like, laughing, tears, like just fucking being, like, convulsing, like, laughing so fucking hard, to the point where the entire class kind of just, like, looked at her and kept staring at her as she was, like, making all this racket. Now, because of this shitty human being that is my mathematics instructor turned around, looked at her, and said, "What are you laughing about?" So, my friend, when she gathered herself enough to speak, she tells my teacher the scenario that she had proposed to me and the answer I had given her. And slowly, as she's saying this to my teacher goes from, like, looking completely normal and interested in what my friend is saying to, like, fucking dagger eye shift in my direction, and just, like, no fucking emotion. Like, my friend's still talking to her, and she's staring at me like I just called her, like, a fucking cunt or something. Like, she is not amused. Like, this bitch was, like, pit. Like, she looked mad. Like, honestly, she looked like if she was, like, upset. You know what I mean? So, I'm just, like, staring at my teacher like, I think you should shut up, friend. Like, you need to stop talking, because she doesn't look very happy. And so, but my friend is still, like, laughing about it, and all of a sudden, like, my teacher again, she's staring the fuck out of me. She raises her hand up to my friend so she'll stop talking, and she's, like, staring me down. I'm staring right back at her because I don't know what to do, and she's like, and she finally speaks, and she says, "Is that true?" Is what true? Is what she said true, that you wouldn't care about having a son who's gay? Excuse me? Listen to what I'm about to tell you. Listen to what I'm about to tell you, because this is word for word what she told me. This bitch, this cunt of a woman, says, "You would want your son to be gay?" Even though I never said I would want one of my children to be gay, because what the fuck is even that? But this is just what she said. This is her ignorance at its best. She's like, "You would want your kid to be gay? So what you're telling me is you would want your kid to be born with a mental illness?" Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes, this is what that bitch told me. She's like, "You want your son to have a mental illness. You know that being gay is a mental illness, right? You know people who are gay have something fucked up with their head. There's something wrong with them. It's not normal, and it's not okay." I don't know what fairy tales people have been telling you all your life, but it's something that you should not be condoning, or something that you should encourage. Like, literally, that's what she told me. That's what she said in front of an entire classroom of 12 to 13-year-olds. This is what she fucking said. That's what she Are you fucking, what is wrong with you as a human being to think that that is okay? No, let's not even go to the moral sense, but what makes you think that in this professional setting of which you are clocked in and being paid hourly to teach students mathematics, do you think that it's okay to talk about how you don't like gay people? Well, not that you don't like gay people, but you figure that gay people have a mental illness. Like, what is wrong with you? What is your damage? And like, okay, I'll stop. Like, fucking rant over. Need to get off the soapbox. I'm trying to tell a story. In complete shock. Like, just shock. Like, I could not believe that someone... Like, I was just in shock. Like, that's the best way to put it. Like, I was just staring at her like literally, this woman went on for about 30 minutes, probably even longer than that, talking about how there were treatment centers for that and how she believed and supported them because it was the right thing to do. And, like, I wish there was, like, some badass, like, climax to the story that I, like, stood up, called her a fucking bitch, and like went straight to the office and reported her ass for saying this type of shit. But what in reality happened was I stared at this woman who is speaking completely out of ignorance and unacceptance and just kind of let her say what she wanted. The entire time I kept looking at my friend like, holy shit, like, is this really happening right now? Because I can hardly believe that it is. So about 30 minutes later, she finally, like, shuts the fuck up and she jumps off her soapbox and retreats back to her desk. And me and my friend are just left sitting there like, oh my God. Like, that literally just happened. Like, that's not cool. Like, that can't be okay. Like, even at a very young age, I understood what professionalism was, and I knew that in a school setting, there was just some things you just don't fucking talk about, like politics or religion. Those types of discussions are something that have no place inside of a school because school is not about that. School's about for you to go and learn about academics, and that's pretty much it. The only shitty thing about this entire story was that I never told anybody about it. I never told my parents. I never told the principal. No one said shit. Like, I didn't say anything, neither did my friend, neither did any of the kids in that class say anything about it. And we should have. We definitely should have. Because everybody was at some varying degree of uncomfortable and not okay with her standing up there and saying the shit that she was saying. I'm very, very grateful that I was born into a very non-traditional type of family who believes that you should fucking just do you. I couldn't imagine the feeling of knowing that your parents don't support who you are, who you truly are. So I'm almost gonna cry. The world is changing for the better. So on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. I really hope that none of you can relate to this story because it's something that would break my fucking heart to know that it happened and damaged somebody. That would really be fucked up. I don't know how else to say that, but it would just be really incredibly just awful if you had to experience something like that at a time where you're trying to figure yourself out and all that. So fingers crossed that you guys never had anything like this happen to you. So yeah, I'll catch you guys later.